Headaches, they can be a real pain, literally. In this video, I want to review the major triggers of headaches and dive into the naturopathic and functional medicine approaches that can help soothe that achy head of yours, specifically based on the actual root causes. If you just take a supplement or you just take a pill in order to alleviate the pain or treat the symptoms, it might help temporarily, but the headache is likely to come back. And if there is not an indication for that specific intervention that you're using, or it's not properly matched, it could cause some unwanted side effects or even more issues later down the line. So stick around. We're going to discuss getting to the root causes of your head pain and some naturopathic and functional medicine approaches and tips to help alleviate those headaches. Now, knowledge of these aspects about headaches can help you and your physician nail down what may be contributing to them and guide you in a more personalized treatment protocol to help you address the problem right from its origin. I'm Dr. Sarah, and we're going to address the root causes of headaches with naturopathic and functional medicine. Now, if you missed my first video on this topic, I do go through some of the basics on headaches, such as their classifications, their common types, their causes, their red flags, and then some tests, specifically functional medicine tests that could be run if it's hard to determine what the cause is. So there will be a link for that in the video description, as well as the resources and references that I refer to in this video will also be in the video description. So you can go ahead and check that out later if you'd like. I will be reviewing some of the basic causes again, because we need to refer to the causes in order to look at how to treat them if that is the specific reason or the trigger for your headache. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, just a little bit of a fact here. About 96% of you that are watching have experienced a headache. That's the proportion of the population that gets headaches. So they are actually defined as pretty simply pain in the head or the face, and there are different types. Now, it's important if we're going to address the root cause to also know when there's danger signals for serious headaches. Now, naturopathic and functional medicine share this core philosophy to find and address the root cause of issues rather than, again, just alleviating symptoms. So if headaches are a signal of an underlying imbalance, and if they are reoccurring, we want to get to their origin, like I said at the beginning. But that being said, it's equally critical to recognize straight away if there's a medical emergency, and headaches are a symptom for that. So the good news is most headaches, about 96% of them, the same amount of people that are affected and the same amount that are actually benign, will not be serious. So rest assured. But it's important to know these signs if someone needs prompt medical intervention. So critical issues like extremely high blood pressure, internal bleeding, traumatic injuries, infections, and toxins, those are specific warning signs that will come with the head. That those conditions actually have specific warning signs that will come with a headache. So these can be remembered. I went over this in the last video and I'll just touch upon it here too. There's the acronym SNOOP, S-N-O-O-P. So S stands for systemic illness or condition. So if somebody's pregnant, if they have a fever or history of immune deficiencies, that could be a sign that something more severe or more critical is going on. If there are neurological signs or symptoms, so if the person's confused, if they're dizzy, if there's numbness or weakness in a limb, if they're having seizures, obviously, or if their eyes are starting to bulge, that's a sign to seek some medical intervention. If the headache is all of a sudden, and it's especially if someone's over 50 and they've never had headaches before, that's a sign that there could be some trauma to get medical intervention. The other O in SNOOP, so we went through systematic illness, neurological signs or symptoms. We went through onset. Now we're on to the second O, which is other associated features. So if you know someone has a headache and they have just had a head trauma, if they use substances, if they awaken at night and from sleep from the pain of a headache, if it's precipitated or made worse by what they call these Valsalva maneuvers, where there's internal pressure made from coughing or exertion, these are signs as well that the headache could be serious and you want to just get that checked out. Now, once a headache is deemed not actually dangerous, we can move on to address some of the underlying imbalances or most common triggers for headaches. Now, before we do that, some people might be in pretty acute pain, right? They haven't had the opportunity to have the time for their body's neurological pathways to rewire yet. So during the process, they might need immediate relief. And so they might seek conventional pain medicaments that are over the counter, Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin, Excedrin, migraine. These are conventional treatments. They also come with some side effects, especially gut and some heart conditions to watch out for. So be aware of that. And that's why we do want to address the root cause. Now, for more severe types, like migraines, prescribed drugs and medical procedures might actually be recommended. So people might be put on beta blockers, which is a type of blood pressure medication, antidepressants, anti-seizure medications, or even have Botox injections to help with head pain. Now, these interventions can provide pain relief, but they're not sustaining often. Someone's relying on medication, which comes with its own side effects. And, again, the root issue is not being addressed. So what we want to do is look at some of the common causes of headaches, because you're never going to cure maybe a food trigger, an environmental trigger with an anti-inflammatory medication, right? At least not for a long period of time. So let's look at some of these common triggers and natural solutions for headaches. So what I want to do is go through those, and then at the same time as we're looking at them, parallel those with how you would treat that later on, okay? So some common triggers of what we call as primary headaches, meaning we're not sure what the underlying medical condition is. So things like lifestyle factors, simple things. If someone's not getting enough sleep, they can get a headache. Alcohol and nicotine use can cause headaches. Caffeine withdrawal can cause headaches. Too much or too little physical activity, those can cause headaches. Missing meals, when the blood sugar is too low, that results in neurological stress that can cause headaches. Dietary triggers. Some of the most associated ones with headaches are alcohol, food additives. We're talking dyes, colorings, or aspartame. MSG, caffeine, nitrates, and nitrites, which are found in processed meats, aged cheeses, which are high in a compound triaramine, which is a breakdown of an amino acid. Then there's also food groups which can trigger headaches. One of the most commons are histamine containing or histamine forming foods, especially if the headaches are allergy or sinus related. And those are fermented foods, alcohol, aged cheeses, citrus, legumes, and processed meats. Those can all be related to a histamine effect and make somebody's histamine issues worse. Muscle tension and poor posture, chemical exposures. And we also talked previously before about potential hormone imbalances as well. Now, when you deal with some of these dietary triggers or environmental triggers, it can get a little tricky, and often avoidance is recommended from conventional doctors as well as integrative medical physicians. Whereas conventionally, that might be the long-term solution. A holistic approach actually aims to modulate that immune response and to help somebody deal with those triggers to enhance resiliency. So potentially we get to the root cause and help build somebody's gastrointestinal tract and their immune response in the gut, as well as help their bodies detoxify some of those toxins. They will be less reactive and maybe not get as many headaches when they're exposed to those foods or environmental triggers, or maybe they just might not even be reactive at all to them anymore. And how do we do this? So one of the ways to do this is to address the gut-brain-liver link through healing what they know as what's commonly termed as a leaky gut, but it's not a medical term and it's frowned upon in the medical community to say leaky gut. So the precise term is intestinal permeability. And what happens is that these triggers or compounds or other life factors can cause damage to the gastrointestinal lining, which is only about a cell thick. And it's there to help create a barrier between the outside world, keep everything in the digestive tract and out, exiting out through the body effectively. But when there's breaks in that barrier, what can happen is that things that aren't supposed to go out into systemic circulation actually enter systemic circulation, can cause inflammation and other processes that we don't necessarily want to go on, because these things should actually be processed in the gut and the liver for detoxification or for assimilation or for excretion. So if we have these things floating around in the body, it can cause inflammation, maybe even go into the brain and cause some neural inflammation. So how do we decrease this possibility of it happening? Again, we want to do things to decrease our toxin load, right? Things like eating organic foods to avoid pesticides exposure when you can and if it's accessible, purchasing non-toxic personal care and cleaning products. We want to filter our home environment, such as using water filters, air purifiers, and diffusing essential oils. Doing movement that is nourishing, that helps move the bowels as well as helps move detoxification. We want to be mindful of liver harming medications. So just be aware that your liver processes everything. And if you're on a lot of different medications, that can be a strain on the liver, as well as all these environmental toxins coming in at the same time. Some people find it helpful to drink coffee. That can actually be liver healthy, can be blood sugar healthy, or it can also, on the flip side, for some people who don't detoxify caffeine that well, and for some people whose blood sugar is already low, it might cause headaches. So there's a plus or minus with caffeine. So know how your body responds. You want to get adequate sleep, enhance stress reduction. Stress can cause, obviously, some headaches. Eating nutrient-dense, plant-powered, and gut-loving fermented foods to help feed those microbes in your gut, right? So you're thinking of yogurt, kimchi as an example. Probiotics could be helpful. Specific nutrients and herbs, when we think about the liver, probably the most evidence-based and the most familiar for many people is milk thistle. And we want to use various essential oils because these act as antioxidants, so they're going to protect from cellular harm. And they also help modulate inflammation, support your microbiome, and aid digestion. I have a whole database on essential oils if you're interested. The link will be in the video description. That's part of my community membership program. Now, other things that can help you take care of yourself and avoid common triggers are staying hydrated, stretching, maybe even setting up an ergonomic workstation, right? So that your head isn't strained and you're not straining the muscles. Massages and chiropractic adjustments can be very helpful when they're indicated to help with headaches. Now, as far as nutrition, I put an extra sound in there, nutrition and nutrients for brain health. We want to feed the brain with nutrient-dense foods because these can help lower inflammation, decrease oxidative stress, and support our brain's neurotransmitter production. And all of this can lessen the chance of head pain. Eating proteins along with healthy fats and carbs in regular intervals also nurtures the brain and helps balance blood sugar. So this means not skipping meals and not fasting. And when somebody's in low blood sugar and say they're trying to do a fast or their body's just maybe dysregulated, it's a lot of stress on the brain. It also causes havoc to hormones, and this can lead to headaches, among other things. So just be careful if you're fasting and you're getting symptoms. I know they said a lot of experts will say get used to it, but again, we want to enhance resiliency, not just do something because everybody else is doing it and it's the trend. We want to do what's right for our body. Now, research has also found that supplements such as magnesium, carnitine, riboflavin, niacin, CoQ10, vitamin D, vitamin B12, alpha-lipoic acid, all of these are in the literature to have a prophylactic and therapeutic effect for migraine patients. So those are some things that you might want to talk to your integrative doc about implementing into your supplement regime if you're deficient in them, or maybe not be eating many foods with those particular nutrients in them. Some specific supplements for headaches are things like melatonin and feverfew. Both of these do have additional evidence in scientific literature for efficiency in migraines and primary headaches. And as far as mind-body approaches, we think of things such as relaxation methods, yoga, meditation, mindfulness, deep breathing. Not only can this decrease your stress, which can help headaches, it also helps your brain as well. Now, aromatherapy, one of my favorite mind body modalities, because it's affecting the brain, it's affecting your physiology, it's affecting your psychology. Peppermint and lavender essential oil actually have studies for treatment with headaches and migraines, and you can click on the link in the video description and go to the article if you want to read those research studies. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, so one thing that I will go back on now and add, because I don't think I added this initially in the causes, is we do also want to address hormones. So that is something to look at. It was more so discussed in video number 1, where we talked about hormonal imbalances and how there's neurotransmitters in the brain that interact with hormones and how this can impact headaches. So make sure that you also get that checked out as well. In fact, low thyroid hormone can actually be one of the main symptoms of one of the main, I should say, triggers for early morning headaches. So just keep that in mind as well. So we went through all of these different various lifestyle factors, triggers. I honed in a lot about environmental triggers and food triggers, because I think it's really important not just to eliminate triggers, but to also help revitalize and revive your digestive tract and help your liver detoxify. So someone isn't as reactive and they're not spending their life avoiding things, but you're actually taking the time to enhance, like I said, this resiliency. So you have the ability to participate more fully and not have to restrict so much as bring back into your life and fill it up. All right, so that's the good news. Remember, the best interventions for addressing headaches are ones that get to the root cause. And you don't just want to cover up the symptom, because if you catch it early, you can maybe find these other imbalances and address them. And then everything will just be working better. I am more than happy to answer any questions. I'd love to read your comments. Please post them in the video description or in the blog if you're reading it from there. I also have additional free resources available for you, as well as I have a community membership program in which you can get access to questions and answers from me monthly, as well as an essential oil course and additional exclusive content available to subscribers. And also, if you want to, I have a free newsletter that you can go ahead and subscribe to as well, and some professional classes that I teach on essential oils and their use clinically. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and I hope that you take wonderful care of yourself, and I look forward to reading your comments. Take good care. Bye.